Good evening, Cubs and Cardinals fans. It's Thursday, September 13th, and it's been a while since I've done one of these. MLB presents Cubs 30 and 30. The Cardinals' number 3 spot in the order has been replaced with a revolving door. The Cubs have bullpen issues and have the Cardinals run out of time to win the division. But who cares about all of that? This podcast got a little bit classier and one heck of a lot better looking. The Team of Rivals podcast starts now.
Smith corks one into right down the line. It may go. Go crazy, folks. Go crazy. There's a drive. Way back. It might be. It could be. Yeah. Playing a high drive into left. Back towards the crane. He's at the track. He has it. He's the World Champion for 2011. A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it toward Rizzo. It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series.
This is the Team of Rivals podcast. No insiders, no anonymous sources, just passionate analysis.
Pete completely called in and ruined the intro. We are live. I'm going to let him know that. Hey, Pete. Pete?
Hey, what's up, man?
Hey, man, you decided to call in right now like at 10:03, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told you.
Right in the middle of the intro. That's all he has to say. Yeah. Yeah. Can you guys even hear him? There we go. I'll turn his volume up. Hold on. I had it down.
Did you screw it up again, Ron?
No, actually, I was on track and you called my phone.
That's just, he was making the best entrance that he could.
He was making a disruptive entrance. Well, I appreciate that, Pete. You had obligations, things you had to do tonight. Now you're calling in. You're on the road. You're trying to get back desperately to get on the good mic and the camera so everybody can see your face. So we appreciate that. I'm sorry, buddy. I'm giving you a hard time, but you did disrupt the awesome intro music. But that's fine.
You didn't have to answer it. I could have called back.
No, because for some reason the Boss Jock app will not download, and so I had to do it on my phone. You called my phone, and it cut the Boss Jock app off.
You told me to call. So did the intro stop playing right in the middle?
It did.
No, right at the end.
Oh, that's nice. Well, why don't you go ahead and play it again?
No, I'm not playing it again. We're live. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it at all. In fact, no. This is funny because Pete, this is us. This is what happens. This is what we do.
This is our show.
It always goes off the rails in some way, shape, or form. But welcome everybody to the Team of Rivals podcast. We're so happy to have all of you on. I'm especially excited tonight to balance our show out. And Pete, you said it very well on your intro, which we did get your pre-intro.
Well, that's really the only thing that matters.
It really is. It really is. It's the truth. It really is the only thing that matters. Our podcast is not only balanced out tonight, but you're right, Pete. It got a lot better looking rather than the 3 middle-aged white guys that are on this show every week. we now are a little bit better, or you could argue a lot better that we have now. I'm proud to announce Brecklyn Carey is a permanent host on this show, which I couldn't be more thrilled. Brecklyn, thank you. While you talk over Pete's door dinging as he opens it, which is another typical thing of our show. No awareness of its surroundings, no regards, no shame. Just, well, is he probably on the damn L train as we try to talk to you?
Well, I'm glad that I'm jumping in, like, just as it is.
You know what? I can only hear you, man.
I don't know why that is. Hold on. But we'll work on that. But why don't you just go ahead and go into your go into your domicile and we'll fix that.
I tell you what, I will hang up and I'll call you back.
That would be great.
All right.
Goodbye.
And the beeping to exit is even better.
Live show, folks. Welcome to the shit show.
Welcome to the shit show. It was so much better when we only did audio versions because we could cover all this stuff. Nobody knew how incompetent we were for like a year until we decided to start doing live shows. But no, I know he's desperately trying to get home. Like he would rather not call on his car phone, but I get why he was doing it. I'm giving him a hard time. He's going to be chafed at me right now.
If
And
anyone
we need to
thought
play
I
off.
was, so if anyone thought I was coming in to clean things up, we can see that that's not going over too well so far.
No, you're already off to a bad start, Brecklyn. We brought you in for a reason. Let's mop this up, and so far it's been we've started off worse. When's he gonna jump on? That's gonna be so funny. You know what? He's gonna be dinging me on this, and we're all gonna hear it. So I'm gonna turn the volume up on this so you can hear his texts, because he's gonna be like, I don't see the invite. So we'll just play off that. Brecklyn, I am so happy to have you on. Son of a bitch. You're never going to be able to enjoy this moment. Hold on, Pete. I know how to fix it. Don't talk. No, you're talking on the phone. Nobody can hear you yet. Hang on. Now you can talk.
This show's off to a great start.
Yes.
I can tell.
Now they can hear you.
There we go.
I had you because I had to play the intro music on the usual iPad cable. That's not equipped for them to hear you. So now we're good. We're past the intro, which has gone smashing. I was in the middle of introducing Brecklyn as a permanent guest, but you called in again. So let's go ahead. Get out what you got to get out of your system.
Well, at least I interrupted you and not Brecklyn.
No, you interrupted both of us.
You have the floor.
All right. So let me backtrack like 12 seconds. I'm actually very thrilled to announce another Cardinals co-host on who has been really supportive of us, expressed an interest to join this group of people, which shocked me.
I have no idea why you would want to do that, but
especially with food in his mouth, Brecklyn. Did you hear that? Like, he had a little bit of bite of something left, and here you are. But I'm happy to have you here, and I want to know how you feel about joining this crowd.
Well, if Pete wants to stop stealing my thunder for like being introduced, then we got that out. We're off to a good start. I'm really excited. I think this is going to be really fun. Mouths full of food and calls being interrupted and everything.
This is the best.
Raw and unfiltered. It's pretty much what's going on.
And the worst.
At least
Pete, where are
honest.
you, by the way? Are you near home?
No, I'm in my car.
Oh shit. Okay, I thought you were getting out of your car. Okay, fine. So
I was getting into my car.
Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't quite understand. I thought I heard an L train in the background at one point, but
you might have heard a commuter train in the background.
Oh, okay. Well, I can't differentiate. I'm in the South.
I know. You barely know what trains are.
Yeah, I don't even know. Yeah. So anyway, I was explaining a little bit earlier. So I was kind of like hurricane proofing the house, getting all the loose things around the house, like furniture or whatever, like into the garage so it can't blow around. And so tonight I feel a little bit more unprepared, but I think we kind of know our topics. I mean, these things we monitor all week, guys. Our text chain is fantastic and annoying all at the same time.
Our really text chain is a thing of beauty. We can charge people $5 a month at least to be added to that text chain just so that they could observe,
like reader only, like reader only though, right?
Basis.
Like reader only though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. If there was a way to set it up as reader only.
Yeah, I would do that.
Yeah, because I don't want Maurer adding in his 2 cents.
Actually, I do want Maurer adding in his 2 cents.
No, Maurer needs to just observe, because his 2 cents every 5 minutes is going to be, this is the best thing ever.
Aww.
You guys are amazing.
I love that guy.
Sweet.
Understand?
Not that we disagree, Adam, and not that we don't love you. I think I love you more than the rest, but
Pete does, because Pete's from theater angle, and he is but I tell you what, he invited us to like his page. I don't know if you guys got the invite, Brecklyn. We'll have to get you on it too. We have a friend of the show who is a director, actor, writer who's getting ready to release a movie called The Grail, and it's
he's almost perfect, except he's a Cardinals fan. So can't have everything.
He did say you're almost perfect. Well, he texted me tonight. I got to read this now that we're on. He said that he's got his kid at a hold on. Hope he's okay with me reading this all out. I won't give names away, but yeah. So I'm at baseball practice for my kids' travel team, and everyone here, of course, is a Dodgers fan. My God. Well, the way the score is going tonight, I understand. I feel your pain. But no, we're in full support of Adam and his movie effort. And if you have not found it, it's at The Grail 2018 on Facebook. Go check that out. He said a trailer is going to be coming here pretty soon. And Pete, we might be the first ones to be able to see it.
That'd be awesome.
Would be awesome.
And for those of you who haven't investigated it, this is not a tale of chivalry and medieval knights. It's a tale of weed.
Which totally, I did. When he first revealed the title to me, I like he didn't give us the context. And when he told us last time, I'm like, wait a minute, this is totally not what I thought it was. But then I've seen some of the pictures and images of on set and the cast and everything. It looks like a pretty fun group, so I'm looking forward to seeing it. And yeah, our buddy Adam Maurer, looking forward to having him on again at some point in time, hopefully soon. But let's before we go into the baseball talk again, we have the most important.
Before we get off Adam Maurer,
Jesus,
Adam, how much is it gonna cost us to get you to wear a Team of Rivals shirt underneath your jacket on the red carpet at your premiere?
Oh,
there we go.
There you go.
Oh, what about this shirt?
We might have to add. We might have to add a fifth.
All of our faces.
Right, Elliot. I've actually altered this. Elliot, you're zoomed in more off Brecklyn's recommendation.
Sounds good.
I'm glad you added that, Elliot. Thank you very much. You've added that technical advice. Sounds good.
Sounds good. I'm good with it.
Another little note about Adam. We've got to have him on again though, so that way he can be friends with me. Like I've got to meet him before all this happens.
Got it. All right. Understand. All right. So what I'm excited about tonight is we have another Cardinals host on who's going to be in from week in, week out. It's finally balanced. Everything's finally on equal ground. So Brecklyn, I know we were getting into it before Pete. Do you have your window open, Pete?
No. It's called road noise. I'm sorry I don't drive a Lexus.
Brecklyn, I'm glad you've joined us. How do you feel about this whole adventure? Are you nervous now? Are you having second thoughts? You've not liked your decision? I want to know. You've got a very nice microphone in front of you now, and I think it mirrors Pete's, like the blackout, right? The Yeti blue blackout.
Yeah. No, you keep asking me as though like you're afraid that I'm just gonna change my mind. Like in the middle of the show, I'm just gonna send you a little message.
I've been so nervous. I immediately regretted adding you to the text chain. I'm like, oh shit! Like, should I have done that a week before the show? Is she gonna back out like right now?
Oh, it was magical. There's a personality you guys have on the show, and like I've been in contact with you guys before. You know, I've been on the show before and everything. Yeah. But then being added to like the group chats and stuff like that is just. It's been fun. I'm really excited to be on the show, and I'm not really that nervous because this is just us hanging out with things.
She knows how unorganized and unprofessional we are. She's like, I've got this.
Elliot's in there munching on one of those pretzels or whatever, and I'm thinking like, oh dang, I should have grabbed snacks. Like,
yeah, you know what? Elliot has like no awareness of what he sounds like on the mic. He has belched out loud after like sucking on a beer. He. Like, you know, it's Elliot. We love him, but we know. We know. That's what he's going to do.
It's expected.
It's expected. It's just, it actually enhances the show. But no, Brecklyn, we're thrilled to have you on. And I think this crew we have here, I was excited to put a simple image together of just 4 people because I think that really, I love the dynamic of 3 at one point. At one point, it was. Can you imagine it was only me and Pete? Jesus.
That was a train wreck, I'm sure.
It was me.
At times it was. There's some good shows out there. You got
Elliot, over the last week. I can't help but to notice this: the gray in your beard, your chin beard.
I know, man.
Like 1 week.
Did you stop using Just for Men?
No, I started a new job and it's been a little stressful.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh,
fair enough.
There's actually, Elliot, you said that there are some really great shows out there from the early ones. There's a really great show out there that is not out there that Ron refuses to release.
I won't do it.
Ooh, can we do
complete
maybe
disaster.
In the off season we should just all of a sudden have a bonus episode where we release it and it's only available for so many hours.
Just don't tell anybody about it.
Yeah, like a secret. We could do like a bonus episode. Like you have to go, like our Facebook, like our Twitter.
Like a Patreon, like only by subscribing to Patreon can you hear this shit show. Like,
yeah, there we go.
And Pete, there were more than one. There were like two or three that we couldn't. I couldn't salvage. It was just like.
Yeah, but you know the one I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, of course.
Nope.
Yeah, we can't do that one. That's like super secret society show.
But no, you're talking about you guys having the show. I'm really excited because I think those shows with just the two of you were probably really fun and great. And then, I mean, Elliot's really fun as well. So I'm excited to join this team. It seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. So
launching right into it then, Brecklyn, we've got a few highlight topics tonight, but I think the one that's most pressing right now is that, you know, the race here is we're coming down to the final, you know, 4 series of baseball, and we have what you would still consider you know, results pending still tonight from the Cardinals game, but it doesn't look good. The Cardinals are going to be hanging on by like 1 game against the Dodgers. They got 3 more. And I was really nervous about this series. I was really hoping the Cardinals could walk into this one at least 3 games ahead of the Dodgers and split and not see them getting on their plane at Lambert Airport with the wild card lead. I'm a little nervous on that now. I don't know how you feel.
Well, I am thankful that I'm this anxious about baseball this late in the game. I mean, I would rather be anxious than not have any hope at all. But I was anxious while we were playing the Pirates. I mean, just seeing the whole thing with it being right there on the edge. With the Dodgers, I have had the best of hopes, but the anxiety levels aren't going down, and it's not going to be down until the series is over. I mean, I'm just kind of sitting on the edge here this entire time.
Yeah, and of course you have at least up to yesterday. What the hell happened to my camera?
I don't know. That's where I was looking. I was like, did you not like my answer?
No,
and you just disappeared.
No,
like, nope, she's off the show.
No, I bumped it. So, you know, guys, yesterday, how did you feel? Like the Cubs dropped a game against Milwaukee. By the way, they have a grueling schedule, and I get the weather thing. I understand all of that. But how did you guys feel, Cub fans, yesterday, 1 game ahead of Milwaukee, heading into today? Against a team like Washington, who for all intents and purposes, they're done for the year. I know mathematically they're not, but I mean, my God, the Braves would have to lose like 3 out of every 5 games to the remainder of the year to even get them to come close. So, how did you guys feel like 1 game cushion on Milwaukee?
A little nervous.
Better than I feel now.
Yeah, no, I agree with you after the events of today, but I know we're going to get into that. Let's just say as of yesterday, I felt okay because I know we're playing Cincinnati, Arizona's not playing great. Then we've got 3 in Chicago, and it's pretty much after the Arizona series, the rest of the season is in Chicago. So the guys are going to be at home. They're going to be in their own beds. They get a day off this next Thursday, finally. And then the greatest part is we get to finish the year against the Dirty Birds. So I think it's going to be exciting.
I wouldn't be too confident about that, Elliot.
No, but the schedule says we finished against you. I mean,
we're not going to finish the year against your team.
Well, you are. I was just telling Elliot not to be too cocky that we get to.
I'm not acting cocky. I'm just saying, you know, I'm nervous and excited.
I mean, especially with the state that our 2 teams are in right now. I mean, one thing is fixed, another thing's broken. I mean, we'll get into the lovely incident with later or now, whenever we decide to bring that up.
I mean, right now, if I'm a Cardinals fan, besides worrying about taking the wild card or, you know, making the wild card, it could be playing spoiler to cause the Cubs to not win the division, which is totally possible.
Yeah, but, you know, it's also totally possible that the Cubs could play spoiler again and knock the Cardinals out of the playoffs. So there's that.
Which is true.
That's like...
because
really
if that
hoping,
happens,
it's like really hoping, Pete. You're like, I hope that's a scenario. Well, if that is a scenario, like if the Cubs got a position locked up, whether it's division wrapped up or whether it's a safe berth in a wild card game, the Cubs could certainly go into that last series and manage with a lot more risk than what the Cardinals would be able to afford, right? I mean, Joe could attempt to beat Joe. Actually, sometimes I hope Joe's Joe, and I hope he does something weird and unpredictable and stupid. I hope he has
like he did tonight.
Yeah, I hope he has no shoes on.
Today.
I hope he has a Gatorade cup of wine and no shoes on, and just basically just what?
Joe doesn't drink his wine out of a cup. He drinks it out of a glass.
Of course, right. Oh, well, fine. So he's not drinking in the dugout, but he's wearing just a Cubs robe, like nothing tight fitting and just bare feet, and just walks out to the mound. That's what I'm clearly expecting to see Joe Madden do, within the next 2 to 3 years.
Oh, I mean, as long as it's MLB licensed, I think they would be fine with that.
Well, he'd be the one to break that barrier down. I'm pretty sure.
So if anyone's going to do that, I feel like he's the one.
Cubs bathrobe, some Cubs scuffs, and the grandpa black socks pulled all the way up his calves. No underwear on though, so that
with sandals on
can disgust everybody in the ballpark and at home.
With socks and sandals.
Yeah.
No. The little scuffs that you wear around the.
Like slides.
It's not the full slipper. Yeah, slides. Whatever you want to call them.
Yeah. I was going to say
the half slipper.
Maybe if we tweet at him enough, he'll end up finding the flip flops that we got on Zazzle. Oh, he'd be rocking those.
Yeah, if we sent him a pair of those, do you think he'd actually sport those?
No.
Thanks.
Probably not.
Damn it! Why not?
No, I think he would drink out of one of the interlocking mugs, though.
I still can't believe I haven't had the motivation to take those down.
I can't believe I haven't had the motivation to buy those. That's about the only thing I haven't bought on the website. Well, that
and Brecklyn asked me, "Where's the revenue from Zazzle going?" I'm like, "Well, we spent most of the money on there, so I'm not really sure."
Yeah, so basically, you mean where's my money going?
You got really loud. You got really loud shit around you. You know that.
That's because I just got home, asshole.
All right. Well, jump back on here in a second.
No, I just pulled up. I got to walk to my place.
Is it cold there yet?
No, it's gorgeous.
Oh.
It's a lovely Midwestern night.
60s.
Nice little crescent moon off to the west.
Night, 80s,
can you even see the sky?
During the day.
Yeah.
Can you see the sky, smartass?
No, I can't. I'm not going to see the sky for another week.
We can get into that later too.
Yeah.
So where are our teams going? What's going on? How are we feeling?
I tell you what. I was nervous today going into. It's a 4-game series. The Cardinals had a 2-game lead on the Dodgers, but they faced Kershaw tonight, and I know that Kershaw in the playoffs is. For whatever reason, maybe it's in our own minds, our own heads. We think Clayton's a different pitcher in the regular season than he is in the playoffs, and I think the Cardinals are, and every other playoff team is in his head in the playoffs for some reason. We are able to get to him, all of us. We have at some point in time, and but it's a regular season game. There's not a lot at stake. They're already behind. And it's not saying he shut them out tonight because clearly something happened. They've scored. It's 9-5. It's in the middle of the 9th inning. So
he gave up a home run to Tyson Ross.
What?
Yeah.
Okay, so the rest of the team couldn't do anything against him. Fine. Clayton Kershaw, is he gonna? It's a question we got to bring up later, guys. Don't let's not ignore this because it's going to be a significant one. But is he going to opt out at the end of the year too? And what does he think he's going to get? Is he going to get more than what the Dodgers were willing to give him on the current deal? I think that's a fascinating question. I mean, throw that wrench into the offseason market, given all the other people that are high-priced people we think are going to go. How's that fit in?
I think the Cubs should sign him. Going to camp with 8 high-priced pitchers would be fantastic.
I totally agree. Totally agree with that. No, but how do I feel about Brecklyn? You posed the question. I mean, I think the Cardinals have their work cut out for them, and their schedule is not easy to end the year. They've got the Dodgers now, and then they end with the Brewers and Cubs, which is going to be, everybody's. I still think that unless the Cubs build a cushion over the Brewers going into that last 6 games, I think they're going to be fighting to just secure them not having to play in a wild card game. And the Cardinals. And the fans, I mean, I can't tell the fans what to do, but I think the fans need to focus on, look, we need to make sure that we can do everything we can possibly to secure the wild card game at St. Louis, not in Milwaukee, if it comes down to that. But we can't ignore the fact that there's, the Dodgers after tonight are going to be right on our heels. They're going to be a game behind. So we got to take care of business this weekend before we worry about the Brewers or anybody else.
Yeah, right now we're definitely sitting in a one game at a time type of feeling because, I mean, 1 game, 2 games go the way you don't want them to, and suddenly it's an entirely different situation that we're in, which is kind of what I was saying before. I'm just kind of teetering right there on the edge to where each game is something where your breath kind of catches in your throat, thinking, where are we going to be after this? So especially seeing the team tonight, I know that you had a show right before this, but I've been able to watch parts of it. I know on Twitter, if anyone goes checks that, I've been venting some of my frustrations about some of the things that I'm seeing, and I just hope that we kind of get a fire underneath us going forward, because otherwise it's not going to look pretty.
Yeah, I totally agree. Guys, any nerves on edge yesterday? Not tonight, but yesterday. Like, walk us through your thoughts. Elliot, for the love of God, you start.
Frustration, man. It's super frustration. The offense is struggling like they were, a few weeks ago, where the potential that that these guys are firing on all cylinders. I mean, it's great to have Bryant back, and I'm glad he's in the lineup. He looked a little better today. It's frustrating to see these guys that that can hit not doing that. So it's more disappointment right now in not knowing what team is going to show up that day. I mean, and I may be splitting hairs here, but I know the Cubs still have the best record in the National League, but I find something to complain about. I feel like every game lately.
You're evolving into Cardinal fans. That's a problem. You're evolving into what the Cardinal fans did. You got used to.
How dare you?
You got used to. No. Follow me. You get used to a standard, and when it's not meeting up to that standard that you think that bar is set, you start to get bent out of shape. Mm-hmm. So that's just a feeling that. Well, I mean, I don't know if you were too young, Elliot, maybe at the time, but when the Bears were really good in the late '80s, early '90s, that was kind of how. I'm trying to find a common ground with you.
That was 5 to 12.
All right, so you don't remember.
Yeah,
you're into Transformers and the remnants of He-Man and all that shit, so you don't remember what I'm talking about. That's fine.
Right.
I don't feel old or anything. Thank you.
Ninja Turtles and
there he is. He's got
Thundercats.
Suspenders on. He's got his tie on. He didn't even bother. Brecklyn has a matching microphone. We're a family, Elliot. Yep.
That's all right. Hey, Pete, one question though. Are you wearing a belt?
Why?
Thank you.
Just answer the question. Don't answer the question with a question.
No. I was at a wedding this weekend where the groomsmen were wearing both belts and suspenders.
What?
Yes.
Wait, belts or cummerbunds?
Belts.
Why?
Huh.
It's very redundant what they were doing.
Welcome, Brecklyn, to the show.
Thank you.
Wait,
I'm really glad that I'm getting.
How would you know that they were wearing belts and suspenders? If they didn't have a cummerbund on, they should have had waistcoats.
He was really investigating the situation.
It was a casual wedding. They were wearing light colors because it was outside. So it was light khakis and light blue shirts, but they were wearing belts and suspenders with that get up. And bow ties.
Bow ties.
Good Lord.
You look like you're about to go like this.
I weep.
Yes.
All right. Well, don't weep anymore, Pete. The question was, yesterday, the Brewers pulled within 1 game of Chicago in the standings. Before the season started, we went through predictions. We went through what we thought about certain teams, roster constructions, how they would end up. Brewers pulling within 1 game on September 12th. Worried more about them now, or you still think Brewers are the Brewers and we're going to finish ahead of them? From a Cubs fan perspective, ignore us right now.
No, I know. From a Cubs fan, of course I'm worried about them. I'm worried about you guys. You're only 3.5 back. We've had a chance to bury this division a couple of times now and haven't done that, have sort of resorted to the mean. Hope is that in the next couple of weeks they'll finish the job against the Reds, and that the Brewers are finally going to brew. I mean, they're hot right now. Obviously, you guys were hot a month ago. So we'll see what happens. It's pretty clear now what the Brewers' strategy was throughout the trade deadline. You know, we talked about what the hell are they doing? It's pretty clear. They're only looking to get 5 innings out of their starting pitching, and they're hoping to bludgeon you to death with their offense and you know, rely on their bullpen to lock it down. So the approach against the Brewers has to be score early and score often, because if you get into that bullpen, you're going to have a rough time doing anything. I mean, they brought in Corey Knebel in the 5th inning yesterday in order to get that game locked down. Craig Counsell had no shame about pulling his starter. He wasn't terrible yesterday, but he didn't want the game to get away from him.
And the Brewers' performance has prevented our friend from Middle Earth from making an appearance this week, because there's no material to go off of, unfortunately. Yeah, so we got the Brewers thing going on, but also there is I think just in general, if you look at the way things are shaping up, and I know I threw this thing out to you guys, it's just hypothetical. If the Brewers were somehow to jump ahead, they were off today, so they're 1.5 games now. If somehow they're able to jump ahead, things work out that way. A Cubs-Cardinals wild card playoff game. I ask you guys, Brecklyn, what kind of pill should I take that night? Because I'm not sure. I'm not sure. The anxiety and the stress I could handle. I'm definitely not talking to these two guys.
Oh gosh.
Oh, we got to live cast this.
You know what? Honestly,
I'd be down for that.
We absolutely should live cast, like live reaction. Like, obviously, we can't show the picture of the game, but we can totally broadcast our.
It just be us making grimacing faces into the camera.
No.
3
What
hours.
it'd be the first 30 minutes of us all trying to sync the feed at the same time.
I might be able to figure out a way to help get the feed on there. I mean, unless we're gonna break some kind of law.
Well, we can't show it on the picture that's showing up live. But if you could figure out how to do one where we could all see together simultaneously without the audience seeing it, yeah,
I got a way we can do that.
Oh yeah, then we'd be okay.
Now you speak.
You fly your ass up here, Brecklyn, get in the car. You could walk.
That's true.
You know what? I do have a flight credit now because I couldn't go to St. Louis this weekend, which I was supposed to do.
Did they cancel your flight?
They canceled the return flight already. I got a notice early, like 4 a.m. this morning. I heard my phone ding, and I rolled over, picked it up, and they canceled the Sunday flight back. And they said the first they could route me back was Thursday.
Well, yeah,
good compromise.
Swing by my house and hang out. You can help me out with homecoming.
Ooh, you guys call in.
You want me for that?
Sure, why not? You helped me fill whipped cream pies in pie tins as my best man. So
yeah, that was a long time ago.
That was several mistakes ago.
It was a lot more dark hairs in my head. A few less pounds around the waist. Better looking.
No, I'm better looking now than I was then.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you were hideous then, man. What the hell were you talking about? Great.
You just kind of spiraled down a little rabbit hole.
I know. I hate
we need
that.
to stop. Every time you start talking about your age, you're just like.
I know. I go into a vortex.
You get a little depressed.
Yeah, I know.
It's okay.
It's a reality. We're all rocketing toward mortality, and especially us.
Anytime I need to pick me up, I know who to go to. This
gonna be the only one left.
Really enlightening.
In 30 years, she's gonna be the only one left.
It's just gonna be me, and I'm gonna have the camera and show you guys, and you'll just drool a little. And be
or Elliot will drool a lot.
Yes, absolutely.
We have our ashes somewhere. Yeah.
All right, we're done. That's done.
And the first episode is complete. All right. So when we're not live.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, if it ends up being a Cardinals Cubs single game, one shot playoff game, question that I would ask you, Ron, is who do you want to be on that mound for that game? I know a lot of people are having conversations between Miles Mikolas and Jack Flaherty, which I'm not even sure if one of them would be able to be on the mound for that game. But the other thing, I mean, I know we were going to talk about this a little bit later, but this kind of, it's
fine.
I was saying it's making us kind of think, where are our teams going to be once we're in that final stretch? I know the Cardinals are kind of having their questions about Yachty. I mean, we pulled him in the middle of the game to substitute for Pena, which makes sense because, I mean, we're behind. We don't want to kind of overuse him while he's still not at 100%. And then the Pedro Strop thing, which I know Elliot's dying to talk about. I mean, it's just, what state are our teams going to be in? Who are we going to want to make sure that we have out there? And what do you think is the most important thing that we do have going into that series, if it happens?
No, I that's what we're all thinking about. And it's, when it's this tight, like going into the stretch, and you're talking about the last series or a wild card playoff game or a tie game, like it's really like, ideally, if all aspects or all situations are thrown out, I would absolutely have Miles Mikolas in that last game. And I say this only because I think Jack Flaherty is going to be a really good pitcher for them for a long time. But I think that it's also, we have to remember, Jack Flaherty is a rookie this year. Like, he is a total rookie this year. Like, he was, I know he made his debut last year, but it's his first year. Like, that is a pressure-packed situation. Miles Mikolas is a veteran. I mean, you can't discount his time in Japan. I mean, that's why he ended up back over here, and he had success over there. So I would put my money right now, or if I had to make the decision, which I certainly don't have to, Miles Mikolas is my guy in that high pressure game or play-in game or whatever you want to call it. Like, it's him, hands down.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. Personally, I agree with you with that. I have no problems putting Jack Flaherty in, especially in like the second game scenario. But I mean, I think you said that really well. But for you Cubs guys, I mean, if you were to go into this series, what would you guys want to make sure that you had in check and solidified?
John Lester.
Yeah?
Yeah, they answered that well, like at the same time, like back in the background, away from their microphones, like no, like, yeah, go ahead.
A closer.
Try it again.
I would want a closer.
Okay, there we go.
And you're saying that because Strop is injured, and right?
Yeah, I don't know who's going to finish games for the Cubs for the remainder of the season. I have no idea. Even
Justin Wilson?
Jesse Chavez?
Just throw Steve Cishek in there. Why not?
No, he's breaking down now because Joe decided to use him 187 times at the beginning of the season. So
right.
Oh,
hold on. Let's tackle that angle right there. I felt a little bit of a Pete frustration there, like Joe overusing or going to a well too often. Pete, what's your rub there?
He went to Joe does this, right? He gets his favorite guys and he goes to them all the time. Doesn't matter if you're up 8 runs and he, after the fact, he says, yeah, well, I didn't want the game to get away from us. Well, that's great. The game didn't get away from you and you won by 8, but now you have this high leverage reliever who you brought in, who at the end of the year, just like each of the last 3 years, is going to be too tired to execute. I mean, he's done it every year. That's why the Cubs only had Montgomery and Chapman when they won the World Series. Those were the only 2 guys that Joe could go to. And it wasn't because they were burnt out, because they had never been in such high leverage situations before. It was because he had burned everybody else out up to that point. He had overused them in relatively meaningless games. Rosters expand. You've got a 40-man roster now. You've got how many pitchers that you can go to? Go to them.
Or a batter, so that your pitcher doesn't have to freaking hit.
Pedro Strop had already thrown an inning and 2/3 and had thrown 21 innings or 21 pitches. Normally with 2 innings, he sits down one time in between and goes back out. He is now on the second time that he's sat down. And now because the bases are loaded and you're looking to extend your lead, you're going to send him out to bat. Screw it, man. You don't need to send him out. You're going to have him go and pitch 2 2/3 innings to get this win. Are you freaking, and you're going to have him hit and try to run the bases? Are you freaking kidding me? And this is not second guessing.
I was flipping out when I was watching it happen on my Twitter feed. This was a moronic decision.
Did you watch any post game? Because I wasn't able to because of streaming, so I didn't know if you heard anything on the score after the game, if they did any kind of post game interview with Joe, asking him why do you use Strop to bat with bases loaded and 1 out in the top of the 10th when you have a perfect switch hitting Tommy LaStella sitting on the bench.
Oh yeah, and that's an even bigger frustration is that his favorite pinch hitter in the world he didn't actually go to.
I mean, I know the guy's ground ball rate is 50%, and he's probably going to hit into a double play, but you still don't use the pitcher, the relief pitcher who has what three at bats in his career.
His response was he was out of his A relievers and he wanted to keep Strop in the game.
He had 15 other AAA guys sitting on the bench.
That was his reasoning. I'm not saying it's right. What I'm saying is that was his reasoning is he had used all of his A relievers and he didn't want to go to his B relievers. Well,
he had two anyways.
And now he's lost him for at least a couple of weeks and possibly for the rest of the season. There you go.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot, Joe. It's been a nice run.
Well, you guys are done with him then? Like you want him gone?
No. I'm saying this year has been a nice run. Without a closer, they're not going to do anything.
Oh no. Okay.
They're not going to go.
Hold on. Live break-in. Matt Adams is up. Runner on first. Cardinals are down 9-7 now. 2 outs. If you guys are ahead of me, don't tell me.
No.
Let me enjoy this.
I've been trying to kind of bounce back and forth. I've got my TV like right over here. So,
Brecklyn, do you have real cable or are you a cutter like I am?
Oh, I've got it actually on cable. Like
You're going to be ahead of me, so try not to react ahead of me because I'm going to be like a minute behind you.
All right. Well,
like hold it in, like go.
Yeah. Okay. No, tell you what, I will, while you wait for your reaction, I'm going to pull this over to the Cubs fans. So what do you guys...
Jesus, it's over.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. While you were telling me not to react, I was like, well, that's easy because you're...
Oh, hey, you're ahead of me, Ron.
9-7 though. I mean, you know.
Yeah. I mean, it ended up being better than what I thought it would be.
Yeah.
At the beginning of that game there.
Respectable.
Yeah. But anyway, so you guys are really frustrated at Joe Madden right now. There's certain things that just aren't coming together. What do you think went well this season, or what is going well? Because you got some, I mean, we had a conversation before where the Cubs are kind of cold right now. I mean, there's some things that just really aren't going, but you guys still aren't bad. And now, I mean, this closer situation is difficult, but.
And I want to build off what you're saying, Brecklyn, because all this, all this noise about the Cardinals, they came back, Schilt took over. They won 9 series in a row or 8 series in a row.
Or 10.
I mean, Pete, to your credit, you didn't acknowledge it. Like on Twitter, you're like, it's nothing to sneeze at. They won all these series in a row. But despite them doing that, the Cubs, they never caught the Cubs. So what happened there? Like they went on this terrific, fantastic run, but they never caught the Cubs. Like they were still behind them. So I think we can't ignore the fact that the Cubs have held their ground. Like they've held their ground. They've put their stake in the island there, and nobody's been able to overtake them at this point. And I think that's largely gone ignored. I mean, the Cardinals won like 8 out of 10. So did the Cubs, but the noise wasn't around the Cubs.
Yeah.
So, guys, I mean, I know you guys weren't butthurt about that because you were just like, you guys were watching the standings and be like, hey, maintain the distance, and we feel fine. Right?
I would say what's gone well this year, the starting pitching, even with losing Yu Darvish for the majority of the season, the starting pitching, with the exception of Tyler Chatwood, has actually been pretty good. I think better than we expected after April, because in April it looked pretty dismal. Starting pitching, for the most part, has righted the ship. The bullpen looked great at the beginning of the year, and it's fallen apart here at the end because Joe uses certain people too much. Hitting's been the frustration. Actually, honestly, one of the things that I kind of am thankful for is we seem to have gotten some answers at shortstop. We now know who Addison Russell is. We know that 2016 was the fluke. This is who Addison Russell is, and I think it makes it easier to prioritize, at least if I was in the front office, makes it easier to prioritize the offseason and who you pursue in free agency.
I totally agree with you on that. I had high hopes for Addison Russell this season to do that, to become the guy from 2016. Obviously, that's not the kind of player that he is. Pitching has been great. Cole Hamels was a godsend. I mean, probably the biggest steal during trade season, I would say at this point.
I would agree with that, by the way.
Yeah, I think he's been doing a really good job. I mean, sort of in the manner of that's nothing to sneeze at. I mean, he's been doing a really good job.
I felt like I kind of think that maybe Cole Hamels thought was, you know what, I'm going to sandbag this year, and then I'm going to get traded, and hopefully some team and then I'm going to take it up a notch.
I don't think so.
No, I know.
You can't.
I know
they
can't. Yeah.
Because you can't guarantee that you're going to be able to answer the bell when you flip that switch.
You can't guarantee that you're going to get traded to somebody who's contending either.
Yeah,
you know what, but guys, we've seen this in years past where veterans or
Justin Verlander, perfect example.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, they're traded over to somebody who has something to play for,
right?
Versus like a year or two where they had nothing to play for. And you never know what that does to guys. I mean, people that are totally counted out, and all of a sudden they're thrust in a situation where, you're in a heated race, lots on the line, and you can't discount veteran experience like that. So I think I thought at the time, and I obviously it's validated now, that Cole Hamels was a really good pickup by the Cubs, regardless of what they paid. I mean, if they can get out of him the remainder of this year what he's provided so far, I mean, that's a huge pickup for them.
He's exceeded all expectations.
Or you could have just kept Arrieta, but that's fine.
That's fine.
Well, they still could have traded for Hamels at the deadline.
That's true.
Even if they had.
And still had Arrieta and not paid that dipshit from Texas.
Well,
LA, whatever.
Yeah, because Hamels would have replaced Chatwood.
Oh, Chatwood.
Mr. Walks a lot. You know what? I still, even though he hasn't been with the Cubs in a month, I still think he leads the lead in walks.
No, he's with the team.
No, he does. Wait,
I know he's with the team, but he's not sniffing that mound.
I wouldn't say not ever. I will bet you a case of beer that he sees action before the end of the season.
Joe's pen is going to get
like Chicago beer.
They better be up by more than 4 runs if he sniffs that mound.
Oh no!
I bet he gets a start.
Let me put it this way:
when the Cubs clinch the division, Tyler Chatwood will get a start. You watch. You watch.
I went to a game at Wrigley, and it was a game where Chatwood started, and as a Cardinals fan, it filled me with joy to see him starting.
I'm sure. It's like that old Bugs Bunny cartoon where he keeps throwing it, and they're doing the conga line around the freaking bases. Yeah. That's what it's like. Sorry, I'm kind of dating myself there too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, your beard's really gray on your chin.
Wait, hold up. Is Bugs Bunny dated now? Is that the point we're at?
Absolutely. It's not on TV anymore.
Hang on, guys. I have a special thing I want to talk about tonight. So my younger brother, which you guys know, he's guested on here before, and he's knows nothing about sports.
Sports ball.
He's actually allergic to sports.
Oh, sports ball.
Nope, I know nothing.
Thank you, Scott, for announcing yourself.
Hi.
Scott is now he's graduated college. He's done it.
Good job. That's awesome.
Scott, congratulations.
Hey, thank
buddy.
you.
Yeah. So you're on a sports ball show.
Your graduation episode.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That's it.
That's what we got.
Seriously, congratulations.
He's not the best color, man.
No, seriously, like I don't even know you, but I'm going through that right now. Graduating, that's huge. Good job, congratulations. I don't know you.
Oh, awesome.
All right, so Scott.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was. It's a long time coming. So,
how many years?
Well, I mean, since I started, it's only been 1 year, but
no, he got through it quick. I mean, given his when he launched into it and when he did it, it was really fast. So, yeah, congratulations. But
yeah,
more than you know, I'm proud of you for knocking it out. It's great. That'll open doors up to you that you didn't even predict. And you have that notch now. You have that thing where people are saying you have a bachelor's or you have a college degree, and you can say yes. So,
hey, thank you.
Yeah, it's a big thing. It's a big thing. But I am disappointed that you still don't know what place are the Cardinals in the standings.
Like 12th.
Well, at least he's a graduate.
Well, if you include all of the AL teams, you may be right.
Is this the power rankings?
I don't. Hey, you know what's more important though is where does Avengers: Infinity War stand in the worldwide box office compared to?
Oh my!
Here we go.
Wait. Don't get started. Don't get started on like comics and superheroes because that's another thing I could talk about all day. We don't.
Oh,
let's not go there.
Scott, if you ever want to pick back up your bad critic, you gotta guess right now. That's our newest permanent co-host, who's a Cardinal fan, Brecklyn, who is also a student finishing up her final year.
Awesome.
Des Moines, Iowa. Do I have that right?
Yeah, just announce to everyone where they can find my residence. Yeah.
You want to give me your address too? I can blurt that out right
box.
here. P.O. Box. Yeah.
And take a left.
Take a left.
Yeah, no.
Ames.
I'm finishing up
Ames,
my
Iowa State.
Iowa. Yeah, let's general. But anyway, yeah, I'm in my senior year. But no, with the comic thing, like you can't really see, but my entire apartment is decked out with like DC and Marvel stuff. I'm a huge nerd. But anyway,
that's
if you
awesome.
couldn't tell.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
my basement is because that's the only area my wife will let me display any of that. So
nerd cave. All right, before we get off on that tangent, so we'd probably talk about that for a while.
We get
fan
bonus episodes.
All right, fine. Bonus episodes. Star Wars, DC, Marvel. We're all in. It's funny we'll have the same group on that.
Tell you what, I will find the episode where Batman and Superman play baseball against each other. It'll be great. There we go. We'll just tie everything in together. Yeah, that's a real thing. If you can think of it, it's probably been done. But
there's actually a comic book that actually has that where Batman strikes Superman out.
Yeah.
For the love of God. Really?
I'm gonna stop geeking out because I mean I understand who I am, and I'm not about to push that part onto the sports show. But anyway, we'll talk later.
All right, Scott. Well, hey, congratulations.
Sounds good.
I'm uber proud of you for finishing that. I know that's when life happens, none of that stuff is easy, but you did it. So
good job.
Thank you. It means a lot coming from my big brother. I appreciate that. And everybody else, I appreciate it. Thank you.
All right. Well, you go ahead and do whatever you're doing tonight. Probably watching like the extras on extra features on a DVD or something like that, right?
No.
He hates me right now. He hates that I said that. He's like pissed at me right now.
Don't let him give you too much shit because I do the same thing.
But the problem is he's going to do exactly what I just said.
Yep.
Like he's going to watch the extra features on something.
Well, it sounds like a lovely,
No, I
relaxing night.
already did that today. All right. I didn't do it right now, but I did it earlier.
All right, fine. All right, we love you, buddy.
Nice meeting you.
All right, thanks, guys. Brecklyn, nice meeting you.
Okay.
So, good luck. You're gonna need it with these guys.
I'll keep that in mind. Thank you.
All right. right, Scott.
All right.
See you later.
All right. See you, everyone.
Yeah, no, I'm uber proud of him. I mean, like how he had to do it was unique from other people, so he did it.
It's awesome.
Got it done though. That's all that matters.
He got it done.
Yeah.
Yeah. Baseball, guys, it's happening.
Oh, right. That's what this podcast is about.
Yeah. Well, we intend it for the game's not over yet. Oh, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, it's been way over.
Well, I know, but it was still it showed me like a sneak peek, like it wasn't over, but it's over. Yeah.
You were the one that like called and it was over.
I got excited because when I pulled up the iPad, it still showed like it was live. I'm like, wait. Oh,
I know we're making jokes about you getting old, but I think this is a little too soon for
is it
that
senile?
kind of.
I'm a little senile. Yeah. So I don't. This is did Manny Machado? He's kissing the sky. Why? He hit a home run tonight. He did.
What?
That sucks.
Yeah,
he had a good night. Is he gonna get what kind of a payday is he gonna get, guys? I mean, so he's
big one,
huge.
What do we predict? We got two predictions to make here. We got Manny Machado. We got Bryce Harper, who really sucked this year.
Kershaw. I mean, we know Kershaw is going to opt out.
Do you think he's going to opt out? I don't think he will. I don't think he will. I don't think he's going to get as much money somewhere else.
I agree. I don't know that it's a given.
No, I don't think it's a given at all.
I think he'll re-sign with LA for like $200 million.
Given his health status?
No, he's going to stay the course.
You don't think he opts out, huh?
He needs to reestablish that he's healthy.
The question is, does he have an opt-out after next year as well? Is it year by year after this point? Because I don't think he can opt out after this year.
No, I mean, he's only got 2 years left, right?
Well, technically he can, but I don't think he should because he's not going to get what he's going to get in LA.
No.
All right, so Pete and I are on the same page. Brecklyn?
I'm going to be really don't know. I'm still learning a lot about this type of thing and what's going to happen in the off season. I started teaching myself all kinds of different stuff ball not too long ago. So I'm just kind of sitting back and learning about this type of thing right now. But I'll put it this way with Machado. Watching Cardinals Twitter and listening to who people are talking about, who they trade for and stuff like that. Machado is one of the number one names that I hear. So he sticks out to me. And of course, we all understand the caliber of players for the other people, but just hearing fan interest, that sticks out to me. But I'm not going to lie, that's
okay.
And well, I have.
All right. So I know we had Brecklyn breaking up a little bit on there, just a little bit, but guys, you two, Pete and Elliot, I know who did it. I know I already figured out the answer last night. One of you two jackasses retweeted something from Michael Cerami, which is just ridiculous. I mean, look, this guy, I have no doubt in my mind. This guy smiles at himself in the mirror in the morning, which you never trust those fuckers ever. Or anybody who smile talks when they're talking to you and they're smiling, like, well, you just don't trust those people. And I think Michael Cerami perfectly fits in this whole category. And so he's like, every time he makes a declaration, I love it because he's so off constantly. But then he's trying to pull an example out. The Cardinals traded Tommy Pham, and he's tore up the league. And he put a picture of some girl spitting out her coffee laughing. Like, yes, Michael, you've discovered a flaw in the Cardinals' logic. You've discovered it. Like, it's so funny that you pointed this out. He's doing so well, and the Cardinals have so suffered since Tommy Pham's exit. Like, this jackass that you guys decided to retweet doesn't even pay attention to the standings or anything since they've traded Tommy Pham. I'm not saying they would be worse off if he was still here, but I kind of like Harrison Bader in center field. I kind of like his defense.
I have some strong feelings about this.
Well, I know. Yes, I know. I know the women of Cardinals Nation have a soft spot for.
No. Not even for Bader. I loved Tommy Pham. I was super sad.
I like Tommy Pham. I like his attitude. I like his drive. I like he was pissed off at the world. But Michael Cerami, like grasping at straws to justify some dig at the Cardinals, like, you jackass. look at things just one time. Guys, why do you retweet anything this guy said?
Because exactly what's happening right now.
You know what? When he looks at the camera, like he's had a couple live videos as though anybody wants to watch him at all. He looks at the camera and he looks like slow, like something's wrong with him. You guys are chuckling.
Videos?
I've watched his well, he jumped into Lake Michigan because he thought like thousands of people were going to watch him and be interested in that. That's his pinned post on his page for Twitter. As though anybody
I'm glad
cares.
you're promoting him.
Nobody's watching this. But I mean, this guy.
Tune in next
Adam
week.
is.
This
Adam's
is a guy.
watching
This
it.
is a guy that smiles at himself in the mirror every morning before he goes to work. This guy is total trash. He makes you guys, when you retreat him or just pay attention to him, it just downgrades the Cubs. I mean, this guy's total nonsense, bullshit. He thinks he's a media guy without being a media guy. It'd be like me posting pictures in front of this green screen of me like acting like I'm in an actual sports studio like ESPN, but I'm not. That's Michael
For
Cerami.
Instagram.
That's Michael Cerami. That's what he is. Nobody cares what the fuck he says. Sorry, Brecklyn. You guys know I'm right. You guys absolutely know I'm right.
Say green screen?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that later.
No, we're not. I don't have a weather map, Pete. I'm sorry.
Ron,
How much time do you think I've had? I've hurricane-proof my house. I'm protecting my family. I don't have time to pander to your
priorities.
desires. But yeah, Michael Cerami, guys, you guys got to quit. Don't do it again.
Do it again.
He's awful.
Yeah, I was going to say.
I don't mind us.
Check our Twitter.
I
at
don't
Team of
mind. I don't
Rivals
mind us following
Podcast.
Bleacher Nation. I mean, Brett, whatever, he's fine. I know Pete, you've taken a couple shots at him, so you're for the most part you're impartial. I would accuse you of being a fanboy with him, but you've called him out a few times, so I can't. But Michael Cerami, I mean, just what a piece of trash. Let's not retreat anything he says again.
We don't follow
Please.
him.
Who retweeted that? You did. It was totally like you knew it was wrong. You knew you could shoot 1,000 bullet holes in it, and you didn't do it. You just retweeted it.
Yeah, because it was fun.
I hate that guy. I hate that guy so much.
Because it got exactly what I was hoping to get.
Oh, fine.
Drove you nuts.
It did drive me nuts. That guy. I'm sorry, Brecklyn. I went off on that for a while, but that's all right.
Just for everyone, Twitter at Team Rivals Podcast to see the next time we retweet this thing, and then you'll hear about it.
Yeah, that's why Pete did it. I know that's why. I know that's why they did it. But whatever.
Well, because it wasn't just you who reacted like that. I know that it was some of the other unhinged members of the Cardinals community on Twitter who also reacted like that. They just didn't reply to me. I'm sure they replied to him.
Well, he's just such a fraud.
It's fun to
I mean,
drop
he really
it
is.
into
He's
their
such a fraud.
timelines.
It was a total troll tweet. So
yeah, I know. Well,
it gets a rise.
Fine, move on, guys. What do you
the
want to
best
talk
fans.
about? What do you want to talk about that's baseball relevant? I mean, my God, let's go.
So we were talking about off-season moves. Cardinals number 3 hitter. We kind of talked about that a little bit already. I mean, what off-season moves do you think the Cardinals should make? And then we'll put it over to our Cubs fans because we talked a little bit about the Cubs.
Yeah. So,
what they should make or what?
No. I think what you have to look at first, Elliot, is the fact that before the series now against the Dodgers, I think you have to look at the Pirates. I mean, or even the series before that, they've had Tyler O'Neill, Jose Martinez, and Matt Adams rotating in the 3-hole.
Yeah.
Like none of those guys for any contending team would be batting third. They wouldn't. So that is such a glaring hole. Guys, we go back a few years on this topic, Pete. You can probably fill in my words for me. Like
Probably.
if you're batting O'Neill, who spent most of his time in Memphis this year, Adams, who you picked up from waivers against the Nationals, it screams out you don't have a 3-hole hitter. Like it just screams it out. What is the reason this is not the Cardinals' first priority this year in the offseason? Brecklyn, I want to ask you first before the peanut gallery chimes in on this.
Peanut gallery.
What like is this not a glaring need that they have? I mean, you look at the guys here. Like, we love all these guys, but they are not 3-hole hitters.
I think that a lot of what has happened is that the players that we have on our current active roster haven't panned out to be kind of what we were expecting to be. I mean, just like Marcell Ozuna, right? Bring him as a cleanup hitter. And there's been times that he's been able to fulfill that role. Right. But while there's times I get my hopes up when he comes up to bat, he is not the Gold Glove defensive player that we've been hoping for. That was something I was particularly frustrated with today's game. And then we've had certain injuries that have happened. And I mean, just like the Tommy Pham trade, I mean, I don't know if we were really planning for that. I mean, someone might have been. But I think we kind of had a plan and thoughts about where we were going, and enough things have shifted to where, yeah, I think we definitely need to address that and figure out who is going to be that permanent spot, because that's really important. I was going to ask your opinions on maybe putting, I don't know, Paul DeJong there. I don't know. I mean, just like who would fit there for right now?
Well, he's been there before. Like they've tried Paul DeJong out at 3-hole. The problem is Paul DeJong. I mean, as much as we love him, we take his steady defense, which you can fairly say he's steady, and you say whatever he provides in offense is a bonus. And actually, I think his offense has allowed him to stay at shortstop longer than his defense has, to be honest. But Paul DeJong has not been able to thrive in the 3-hole. In fact, Cardinals have had nobody on their roster that can thrive in the 3-hole. I mean, they've tried Matt Carpenter there, Salsa or not, he can't do it. Like, they've tried it twice now.
Has he tried it since he's been on the salsa?
He's been on.
I think the broad perspective on that is like, you just don't mess with him anymore. Like, if he's thriving in the leadoff spot, you just have to leave him there.
But I thought it's got to be the salsa, not the leadoff spot.
You know what? Don't get.
It's got to be Matt Carpenter.
Don't get media and fan like pictures and text and everything like involved with that. That's what, rally cat, rally squirrel, fine. But it really comes down to the player, and they've physically tried him there twice now. They've tried him at the beginning of last year, beginning of this year. Like, a guy can't hit in 3-hole. It's proven already. He can't do it. So he's best where he's at. But the Cardinals do not have a 3-hole hitter.
I think he can. He's just not the best there. I mean, I just don't like the idea of like he can't, because that makes it sound like he's suddenly like just isn't functional. I think he can, but he definitely, in my opinion, belongs in a leadoff spot. But I mean, just like what you're talking about, we don't have a clear answer of who goes there. So we've got to find somebody who's going to be that clear answer there. And I mean, once this season ends, it brings back the question of Dexter Fowler and, some of those other players we haven't thought about here in a second. But yeah, it's just one of those things where you kind of hold your breath and sit up a little bit straighter and wait to see.
Yeah, sit up straight, straighten your tie like Pete will right now. Like, what do we do with the 3-hole? I would have to think that after this year, and I agree with, my brother-in-law, former Cardinals minor leaguer, was on the show previous to this, and he was like, he sees the Cardinals as high potential for making the playoffs, but not a potential for going deep. And I think if we're honest with ourselves, we understand that we have probably a lineup that's lacking something in the middle to give that deep threat like late in the season. I think we all know that. I mean, if we're honest with ourselves, I think we all know that. The pitching, I think we're fine, and like that's the sad part about this. We have so many options at pitching, and I know some of them don't go well at times, but it's really deep, and so it's really a shame. We have all these arms, but we don't have a solidified middle of the order that can pose a threat.
Oh yeah,
that's the miss, I think.
Yeah, I'll add this, and then I'll throw it to our Cubs fans since we haven't let them talk in a second. But
I don't want to. I'm not.
It's really unfortunate how many runners we leave in scoring position. It hurts my heart so badly each time, because the good news is that we're getting guys on base, but the bad news is we can't bring them home. And that is just really difficult to watch, especially when, if you were able to drive those guys home, we would take the lead. It's been that situation over and over and over again. And we've had our bullpen issues for sure. We had, not the worst starting issues. We kind of fixed those. but we've had the questions with the bullpen, and we're kind of figuring that out. That's not the main concern. I mean, just like what you said, we need that power in the middle of the lineup, and we're just not getting there. We were there for a little while, it seemed, and it's like there's just something missing, and I don't know what it is, and I hope we find it. I've still got faith in this team, but it's like once we start getting something working, something else kind of fails. And that's in contrast to the Cubs, to where I feel like the Cubs have had everything working for them pretty well, been as efficient as everyone, like as Cubs fans would expect. And so while the Cardinals are kind of going along with the system, and like one thing is kind of breaking, but everything else is working well enough to keep us going, the Cubs as a team like have been working and been going along really well. I mean, like we said, the Cardinals were on a really good hot streak, and we still didn't really catch up to the Cubs, which is painful for me to say. It's very sad, but yeah, I see that little smile. Yeah, I mean, that's where it's difficult. I feel like if we had whatever that missing thing is, we would be in a much better position than we are, but it's not there. And I'm talking in circles, so someone else take it.
No. I think you're right. And yes, we want them to talk about this. This is their wheelhouse, but I think that going back to the point earlier, the Cardinals went on a hot streak, but they still only closed the gap so much. And so that really says a lot about the Cubs being able to have enough depth, have enough experience, have enough talent to fend off this whole storm. And of course, the Brewers have gotten close, which I'm sure that the Cubs fans here in a minute are going to be like, yeah, a little nervous about them, because we all expected the Brewers at some point to be like to pull back from the pack. That hasn't happened, but yeah, this is a really interesting what's going to happen in the offseason. I think the dynamics are going to change, but right now I can't tell you if it's for better or worse. Cub fans,
Pete,
unite.
Go ahead, you can go first.
I don't know. I don't know what your solution is, because I feel like anytime there's a need that the Cardinals should be going after, they don't do it. They try to promote from within. And I feel like anytime they do take the chance, they get something happens, either fluky, and they get burned. And that's why they don't do it. If I'm in your guys' seat, I'm probably trying to go after Machado, but I know they won't do that. He fills that need in a perfect way, and he's that 3-hole guy that you guys could use. So that, I mean, if I'm their front office, that's who I go after. So that's where I go.
Yeah, he's the only potential free agent that I can see them pursuing, because it seems like their outfield is in fairly good shape.
Mm-hmm.
But I think O'Neill profiles as more of a 4 or a 5. Obviously, Bader is going to be at the top of the order once Carpenter calls it a career or falls off. So you're not gonna. I don't see them being in the market for Harper at all.
No,
because that just complicates the whole issue. And so then you're looking at, well, where do you fix things in the infield? And unless JD Martinez opts out of his contract, which he has the opportunity to do, and goes back out on the market to try to improve the contract that he signed with the Red Sox, I think third base is the play. It's Machado. And he said that I think it was this week, he said that he's open to the possibility of returning to third base if it was with the right team. But, are the Cardinals that team? Is he willing to return to third base with them? He very well may show up and make the argument, I'm better than Paul DeJong. You can play me at shortstop.
Well, it's also sort of like what Elliot was talking about, where is the Cardinals front office even going to make that move? Because the Memphis Redbirds are really great. I love our farm system. I mean, absolutely love it. But there's just some things that you do have to take from without your own, like from outside of your own system. And there's just been too many times where it seems like we're asking for that. We're like, we need to make some moves, and it doesn't happen for whatever reason. And I'm not saying that I know any better, that I'm saying like, oh, we should have done that. Maybe there's a reason why we can't or shouldn't, or some plan in the works, but it gets frustrating.
Yeah. And I can't lately only in the last few years, it would be frustrating if my front office didn't go after and go get those needs if they weren't in the farm system. And I know a lot of times the Cardinals have that in the farm system. They just know how to pluck those guys out of there, and they end up being good. Mm-hmm. I wish we had that sort of thing, even though the Cubs farm system's terrible. But...
Oh, I feel so bad. I feel so bad. So as we said, I'm in Iowa, so I end up going to AAA Iowa Cubs games anytime that I want to go, watch a game. And it's really fun to watch baby Cubs lose. So
don't get used to it.
Yeah, they've got some guys. Actually, they've got some good guys coming up. So
well, and also if you look at it, part of the reason why the baby Cubs lost this year, especially at AAA, was because they kept getting called up to Chicago.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is you guys completely depleted your farm system, so all your good guys are up playing in the majors, and then the people who were left behind were those guys that are kind of scrapping along. Not to say that they're bad players. I mean, they're still playing professional baseball. It's just comparatively. I mean, I'm not sure where they are in the standings. I don't follow that closely, but I know there for a time they had the worst record in MILB.
Well, but I think that putting guys on the Des Moines shuttle back and forth between Iowa and Chicago in order to take a turn in the rotation or to take a turn in the bullpen so that guys can get rest, that's gonna wreak havoc on where you finish in the standings. And that's just a reality of the Cubs trying to lengthen their bullpen and to utilize the 10-day DL the way that the Dodgers did last year.
The Emeralds are in the playoffs, though.
Emeralds aren't in the playoffs. The Emeralds won the Northwest Championship.
Did they win it?
They swept their way through the series.
Wait. Their name's the Emeralds?
The Eugene Emeralds.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the town where I used to live.
Okay.
Oh, that's
go
fun.
watch it. They won the championship on a walk-off ball.
Great for them. That's a pretty name.
That's a pretty name. And then isn't it? I have a friend that lives there. Isn't it Kane County Cougars?
Yeah, that's not too far from me. They used to be a Cubs affiliate.
Yeah,
but then what was it? 3-4 years ago, they signed with South Bend instead. So now it's the South Bend Cubs, and the Kane County Cougars are the Diamondbacks affiliate.
Yeah. Oh, okay. See, that's where I was
mixed really funny. I like how Peoria is the anomaly. It like bounces back between St. Louis and Chicago, single A, low A, every 5 years. And Pete, I remember the game we went to in Brecklyn. You were probably
when it was still called Van Auken Stadium.
It was no, it was a new. Well, yeah, I think you're right.
It was Van Auken Stadium.
No, it was O'Brien Field at the time.
Are you sure?
Yeah, it was.
Did they have the Bud Light party deck? Because if they did, it was O'Brien Field.
No, they didn't.
I don't remember, but I remember that Kerry Wood made a rehab appearance in Peoria with a bunch of major league fans at a minor league stadium heckling minor league players. You do remember that, right? Like there were major league fans heckling minor league players, innocent minor league players, like tiny guys, striking out left and right against Kerry Wood. And Pete was just celebrating every strikeout.
He looked good.
Problem was Dusty was still the manager.
That's true.
No, jeez.
So, wore his ass out. You know the story. I mean, we've heard it on here several times.
Poor Mark Pryor.
I need some clarification on what happened. So it says in my bio that I used to live in Springfield, Missouri. I actually grew up in Rogersville. I went to the Logan Rogersville School District, and it was the Ozark Ducks. I believe it was. I remember it was Ducks, and there used to be the Duckbill Whistles, and it used to be a minor league affiliate, and then it wasn't, and now it's gone. I don't know what happened. I was still pretty young, but if anyone out there has any answers, that'd be good.
I'm sure somebody from Cardinals Nation can chime in on that's familiar. I mean, Christ, we had the guys from Cubs Cards Cast on and told us that there was a Paris, Illinois single A Cubs team.
Oh,
remember that? John Pierman.
What? Paris?
Are you Are you going? Is Pete going right now? Like, are we witnessing it? Remember John Pierman? Like, we had the Cubs Cards Cast on. He said there was actually a Cubs minor league team in Paris.
Oh, that's right. Oh, in the past.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Not now.
I
thought you were saying now.
No. Come on. I said John Pierman. You should automatically knew I was talking about the past.
Moving on.
Yeah. Anyway, last thing I'll say about farm systems. Memphis Redbirds are really great. The entire Cardinals farm system, we've got some really great guys coming up through there too. Iowa Cubs, I can't really say anything else about the Cubs farm system. It was really fun being able to watch David Bodie play. I will say that he was a fun person to watch play, and I also got to watch Victor Caratini, which I wanted to get.
What about the catcher that stares at the cameras?
Taylor Davis.
Oh, Taylor Davis. That was really fun. He got called up. I didn't think he would ever get called up. That was a small AAA Des Moines victory because everyone in Des Moines, it's like, oh, go to, Iowa Cubs game and watch Taylor Davis stare down the camera. So when he got the call up, it was like not necessarily a Cubs victory. It was like a Des Moines victory. We were all happy for him. I was conflicted.
He did get called up last year too.
Yeah.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Oh, I wasn't aware of that, but well, that's good.
Yeah.
That's okay.
We
won't hold it against you.
I think he did staring at the camera.
Is he any good though, guys? Or is it just like, hey, this is a good personality, but no, it's not good.
No, he's an organizational depth catcher.
Yeah.
He'll get passed within a year or two. Forgetting the name of the other guy, but down at single A.
Down at single A, yeah. Our catcher,
Miguel Amaya is coming fast. So, but there's already somebody, I think it's in Myrtle Beach actually, who has been impressing people as well. So,
yeah.
I hate that place. If you were a minor league player or a major league player, and you had a GM like Pete who had suspenders on right now, and he cut you, he just told you were done, like we're releasing you. Would you want to snap the suspenders right back at his nipple? I'll start with you, Elliot.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ron, we're going to need you to come in on Saturday. That'd be great.
I had to ask a question. I was itching to ask him. Like, he wore suspenders in tonight, and at least a normal time. So I got to give credit.
What exactly would you say that you do here?
Anyway, I have people skills.
I talk to the damn engineers so the customers don't have to.
I do about 45 minutes of actual work per day.
It's actually a fact. All right. I think. All
right, all.
I think we've done it, Pete. Can we
take us home?
Yeah.
Can we? Is that what you're asking, Ron? Was
that the sentence?
The sentence.
You gave up.
Maybe you were having a stroke.
I give up. Maybe.
So when Ron gives up and we're not live on YouTube, you can find us at teamofrivalspodcast.com. We're also on Facebook at Team of Rivals Podcast and on Twitter at Team of Rivals Pod. Also, finally on Instagram at Team of Rivals Podcast. You can contact us by email at the show at teamofrivalspodcast.com. On Twitter, you can find Elliot at
TOR_Elliot.
Ron at
TOR_Ron75.
And Brecklyn, our newest co-host, at
Carry on Cards.
And catch us anywhere you listen to podcasts: iTunes, Radio Public, SoundCloud, Stitcher, Spotify, TuneIn, and Google Play. Radio Public, of course, is our preferred platform because it does throw a couple of pennies our way each time you listen. And as always, don't forget to visit the team store on Sazzle. Ron, take us home.
All right. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure welcoming on Brecklyn for her first episode of a member of our group. I'm so happy to have her on board, and everybody will be talking to you at the same time, same place next week. Go Cards.
No, I can't feel my leg. Yo, bartender, your food needs a refill.
Oh my God. Bye, everyone.